Hello, my name is Donald Forrester, and today I'd like to share a few things with you regarding a very important topic having to do with tenants and screening tenants the right way. You know, who likes to have vacant property? No one. I mean, we all like to have tenants renting our property. But we're not just interested in getting anybody into our properties, right? We want to have a special, a selected type of person that we can put in our properties. And that's why it's important to know how to screen tenants, prospective tenants, the right way. Because we want to end up only with the right type of person. You know, you're going to hear me say this throughout this entire presentation. It's better to have no tenant than to have the wrong tenant. But guess what? 90 to 95% of tenant problems can be eliminated through the screening process. So if you do your homework up front, you have less headaches later on down the line. You know, it's interesting, but recent studies have shown that 3 out of 10 tenants are considered undesirable. These individuals are not right for your property, not right for any property. So these 3 individuals we are always looking out for in every 10 people that we interview. So what you want to know is the right questions that you need to ask so that you do not end up with these 3 type individuals, okay? What you always want to keep in mind that you do is pay attention. Pay attention to everything that's said. First, know to ask the right question, then relax, close your mouth, and listen to the responses that you're getting. And this will tell you the type of person whether this person is an individual you want to have in your property or not. So this process begins from the telephone call. From you first started talking to this individual, you want to be taking mental notes on the type of individual that this person is. All right? Now, what are you looking for? Let's just put the goals clearly outlined in our mind. What you're looking for is a good tenant, a good renter. Here's what a good renter will do for you. A good renter is someone who's going to pay your rent on time every month, is going to obey the rules and laws of your property, and is going to be a conscientious person and also conscious of what he or she does in your property. And that's the individual that you're looking for. Now, you're not going to find a perfect person every time, but at least you want someone that's going to pay your rent on time and that's not going to break and destroy your property, okay? We can ask for those things, right? It's okay. All right. Now, let's come to the first step, showing the property. As you start talking to this individual, you're showing the property, what you want to do is to look for the telltale signs that this person is telling you, is voicing to you who he or she is. First, you want to look at the person's appearance. Is the prospect clean and neat? Did he or she make an attempt to make an impression, a good impression on you? In most cases, if this person is an unkept person, chances are that person keeps an unkept home and, you know, is going to give you, and his lifestyle is also going to be unkept as well. So the appearance of that individual, how that person presents him or herself, very, very important. Now, here's something that I always look out for. A person's car. What kind of car does he drive? You might say, okay, Don, that's such a small thing. But you'll be amazed how much it tells you about that individual. Is the car neat and tidy? Chances are if a person doesn't keep his car neat and tidy, guess what he's going to do with your property? It's not going to be neat and tidy either. What about attitude and manners? Does this person behave in a respectful way? Does he or she show indications of being a difficult person? Obviously, if this person gives you a hard time, that might be telling you something about that individual. When you need to collect your rent, or if there's a problem with the home or with the unit, that person might not respond in an easy to get along way. So definitely, that is definitely telling you something. Criticizing the property is the person just looking for nitpick things to criticize your property. Of course, you know what that person is trying to do. He is more than likely trying to negotiate a lower rent. So that kind of prepares your mind, should prepare your mind for the type of individual that you're dealing with. You know, yes or no, can the person make decisions? Is the person prepared to make a decision? Or let's say when he came to rent the property, did he bring the rental, did he fill the application out when he came back? Or did he, you know, is he prepared to give you a deposit on that day? Let's say if you had an arrangement for him to come back. So this kind of tells you a little bit about an individual, whether that individual is thinking ahead. All right, so we've discussed showing the property. Now we move to the application process. You know, what you want to do as you're analyzing and going through the process of deciding whether this is a person you want to rent your property to, you want to obviously be interviewing this individual. And here are some upfront questions that you definitely want to ask the person. First of all, you need the person's name, person's phone number. Here's a big one: reason for moving. You know, why did you leave your last property? You know, if that person was evicted or if that person was foreclosed on, you would definitely want to know this up front. You know, definitely things you want to know. When is the person looking to occupy your property? Would be another question. Does the person have any pets? Of course, a big one that we're going to come to now is credit, the person's credit situation. You know, you might want to ask the person, you know, let the person know that, you know, you perform a very thorough credit check, and just sit back and just take in what's coming your way from that individual. You know, what is your credit score? You know, is there anything I need to know? You know, and allow the person to tell you. You know, and they will tell you if you're quiet and silent and wait for the response. And here's another one that I like: landlord references. Now, this tells you everything about the person and the relationship that they had with their previous landlord. Because obviously, if they did not have a good relationship with their landlord, they're probably not going to want to use that person as a reference. So you're screening the person, and you want to make sure that you're getting the best tenant for your property. All right. Now, please note that anybody that is not willing to answer these questions, you definitely want to pass over. Don't waste your time, okay? Because a person that's serious about your property is going to try to make an impression on you and is going to be willing, provided you ask these questions in a very polite way. Always be respectful. This is important. You know, you're going to realize that person is going to respond to you in a very kind and polite manner. Now, the next thing you want to do in the application process is to make sure that you have a very thorough rental application, one that covers all the areas, that paints an entire full picture for you about that person's financial situation, rental history, and anything else that you need to know about. So you definitely want to make sure that you tell the individual that you're taking applications from other individuals. This is not the only person that you're considering. You're looking at other applicants at the same time. And so it's important that the person fills the application out thoroughly. And not only thoroughly, but get the information back to you in a timely manner so that that person can be considered. And of course, what you want to do when you get the information back, you want to review it. You want to be thorough in your review. You're looking for inconsistencies. You know, you're looking for situations where, you know, you can disqualify the individual if that person does not qualify. Remember, a bad tenant is not what you want in your property. You know, you definitely want to keep that in mind. Now we come to the next stage in this screening process, the approval process. The approval process is very important. This is the stage that we as property managers really enjoy. You have looked over several applicants and you've decided that this person is the most qualified, and this person is going to be a good renter, is going to pay you on time, is going to obey your rules, and it's not going to damage the property. All right? So you inform the individual. You say, okay, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to let you know that you came up number one on the list, and you qualified as far as that is concerned to now to rent the property. And you at this time could also share any minor infractions, credit infractions that you overlooked. Let the person know what you did to have that person qualify for that property. Very, very important. At this time also, you want to set a date and time where you are going to now sign your lease application. Most important. You want to, of course, let the person know how much money they need to have, and the forms of that you accept. Is it a credit card? Is it a check, money order? The form of payment that you accept. This is information you want to let the person know. So the date and time of the closing and the address information, you definitely want to let that individual know. And then also the type of payment that you accept. Be sure, very important here, is to let the tenant know that he or she is not going to receive keys until the checks have cleared. So that person needs to know that after all the checks have been cleared, it is at that time, then they can come back at a later date and pick up keys. All right, now you've done all of that. Are you finished? No, you're not. You still have one step left in the process, the lease signing. Now, a lot of property managers drop the ball in this area because they feel like their work is over. Your work is not over because you're still screening this individual. What you want to do is you want to have this leasing application there in front of you, and of course you want the applicant to have a copy as well because he's going to be signing it. You want to go over the application. Most important, read the entire application if you have to. I don't care if it takes hours to do it. Most important that you get the applicant to agree to everything that he is signing. Don't just have him sign it. Suppose he doesn't accept the late charges that you're going to impose upon him if he's late. He will express that to you at this time. And then guess what? You still have the right to say, I'm not renting to this individual. Do not rent to the individual if he disagrees with any of the agreements that you have in your lease application. Because remember, it is better to have no tenant than to have the wrong tenant. Don't be afraid to wait for a good tenant. And I advise, all my other partners that are in the property management business, that you don't want to just find a marginal tenant that maybe qualifies in some areas and does not qualify in other areas. Be patient, I should say. Be willing to wait to find the perfect person that you're going to put in your property. All right, so these are just a few points I'd like to share with you today. Most important that you screen your tenants, your potential tenants properly, that you know the right questions to ask, that you ask these questions and then be silent. Listen and analyze. And you might want to, at the end of the interviewing process, might want to jot down certain notes that you took after you interview this individual so that the next time you can add to that list so that you have a thorough, good picture on this individual, on the way they're going to act and perform when you rent to them when they're in your property, okay? So thanks again for spending a few minutes with us. We really appreciate the opportunity that we had today to talk to you about this most important subject, screening tenants the right way.